In this video, I want to talk about explicit and implicit typing, but especially explicit typing. So what is explicit typing? Well, in our last video, we used the var keyword. And the var keyword is a form of implicit typing. And what the compiler actually does is, based on the input, it's going to say what type this var is going to be. So when we put a text inside a var variable with a var keyword, which is a form of implicit typing, the compiler is going to determine that the variable is going to be of type string. And the type string is the same as text. When we put a number inside a var keyword variable, then it's going to say it's an int. I'm going to show you that by going back to our code. And when we click on this hello text, you're actually going to see that it says string hello text and not var hello text. Also, when we click on the number, you're going to see that it's saying int number and not string number. This explains the error that we get when we put back the text 5, trying to put it inside a number instead of a number itself. And it's going to say a value of type string, which is the same as a text value, can be assigned to a variable of type int, which is a number value. That's why you could also do that we delete the var keyword here, and we say that this is a string and this is an int. This way we can read, by looking at the types before the names, what kind of type it is. If we use the var keyword, we have to look at what's going in our variable, so what's defined here, to know what the type is of our variable. Well, when would you use implicit over explicit typing? In this case, I would be fine if there is a var here and here, because if you look at the inputs, it's really quick to determine that this is going to be a string and this is going to be a number. But let's say you have more complex logic and it's not that obvious what the type of the variable is going to be, then I would place here the explicit type and I would use the explicit typing. Well, there's one thing to bypass this problem, and that's the dynamic keyword instead of the var keyword. And what a dynamic does, it doesn't matter in what type of input you put inside a variable. If you run it now, it's going to run. But the problem of a dynamic is that you're entirely not sure what's inside your variable unless you're going through your code, and you're not going to see it quick by clicking here. As you can see, it now says dynamic number. And that's why I don't recommend using this. Sometimes, in some cases, it's handy, but overall, it just makes your code really difficult to read and to understand what is happening. And you would have to really look into your code to know what is happening to our dynamic variable. So I would recommend not using that. You can forget that. But still, I had to show it. And we use explicit typing here, or you can use the var keyword as I just said. And let's delete this. Well, you have other types which are known as primary types, which are much used just as the string and the int. And one of these is the boolean. And what a boolean is a boolean can have two values. It can be true or false. So that's really easy. We can set it to false. And if we print that out and run the code, then you can see that it's going to say false. So that's really simple variable, but it's actually really powerful. And you have also other types like dates, datetimes, timestamps, and doubles. And how doubles work is that these are numbers with a decimal. So if I type here .0, it's going to say that you can't put a double inside an int variable. But if I change this up to a double and then press run, then you can see it's still printing out the same. But would I change this to 0.4, then he will print out 0.4 instead of 0, as you can see. So in the next video, we are going to take a look at integers.